Hello?
Hi, good morning or good evening, whatever you want to say.
Hey, what do you want
My
to talk
name,
about?
I want to talk about Palestine and Israel, what you are talking about in the last 2 days. Two days.
Yeah, what's up?
Fine. My name is Eli. I'm a teacher of history, almost 25 years. I'm Israeli, Zionism, live in Israel. And I see what you are talking, and I wish we can discuss a little bit about fact, not about feeling. Tell me, my friend, you been ever in Israel
No.
slash Palestine? No. So how you can say that? First of all, how you can say about Gaza that is blockade?
I mean,
Second, how you can say
this is verifiable. I mean, we can talk about the blockade on Gaza. This is widely internationally known. I mean, Israel themselves say that they're doing a blockade on Gaza. This isn't like a
no?
hidden thing.
Israel don't say that.
They do say that.
Israel do not say that.
They do say that, and
No. Israel not.
not only do they acknowledge that, it has been widely condemned by the international community. I mean, we can get into discussions of how it's probably illegal under international law because it's a form of collective punishment. But just on a basic moral level, it's abhorrent.
Israel do not say that. This is what your opinion. It's okay, but Israel do not say that. First of all, do you know that Hamas is organized terrorism that recognize about everybody?
I think Hamas has done some horrible things. 100%. I
No,
don't think that justifies the blockade.
Not a horrible thing. Hamas is organized terrorism, like the people bombed 9/11 in the United States. This is the word, organized terrorism.
I
you
also
recognize that?
I think that most states have committed acts of terrorism. Yes.
I'm not talking about another states. I'm talking about Hamas.
Yes, and
Do
I think
you
that
recognize that Hamas?
Absolutely, they've committed acts of terrorism. 100%.
Okay. Do you know that Egypt have a border with Hamas without any open with Israel? Do you know Egypt have four gates to Hamas?
The military dictatorship that currently exists in Egypt is also atrocious. Yeah. Yes.
But you know, Egypt is a Muslim. Hamas is a Muslim. Most of the people that live in Gaza,
not once did I bring up religion. I'm not talking about religion. Telling me that the military dictatorship in Egypt is also supporting the blockade means almost nothing.
Oh, I'm not talking about religion. Just give you the fact. Egypt, 110 million people, and Gaza, 2.5 million people, is the same people. So what they need to do, the president of Egypt, Mr. Sisi, what he need to do is open the gate. That's all.
I think he should
open the gate,
and I also think that
freely.
Israel should lift a naval blockade. I also think that that's important.
No, Israel will never open the gate to Gaza. We get outside from Gaza before 16 years ago, and you have more of 500,000 rockets that sent to Israel.
I would definitely want to fact check the 500,000 rocket claim.
Check that.
But just the notion that the naval blockade, because that's what we're referring to. If you want to make an argument that they're closing their border, the land border, that's one thing.
My friend, it's not an argument. You can say your opinion. I always say the fact because I live here and I know that, and I'm a little bit asking with the political, but I'm a teacher of history and I know fact and I know the date and I know everything. What you are saying about two things. First of all, I just want to say to you one thing is very important because yesterday you talked about that this is not for Gaza and Israel. Just give me your opinion about what's your opinion about Obama and what he's doing with the Yazidis in the war in Syria. You can answer that later on. But
I think what Obama was doing in Syria was atrocious. The bombing in Syria, I thought it was awful. And I thought that there were pretty clear moves to try and eventually topple Assad. And I think we saw a continuation of that under Trump.
Okay. Well, do you know we cannot allow to be one country in Israel? Do you know that?
You mean because a one state solution?
One state solution? No, it cannot be. If there is one state solution, there is no Jewish in Israel.
That's not.
By the way, sorry about that.
That's not what that means.
I will explain to you. It's okay. Just to inform you, can you visit Gaza?
Could I visit Gaza? No.
Why?
Because there's a blockade and Israel has complete and total control of who goes in and out of Gaza.
No. You have a free ticket to get to Gaza from Israel or from Egypt. You want to go to Gaza?
If I got on a boat and tried to say bring in aid to Gaza, I would be stopped by the naval blockade.
First of all, we're not talking about boat or we're not talking about.
We're talking about getting into Gaza.
To get into Gaza, you can go for the border from Egypt or from Israel.
And I'm saying if you want to come by the sea where they have the blockade, they will stop me.
No, it's not open the sea, not only between Israel, also because of Egypt. because we know what's happened. When you have an organized terrorism, they cannot get inside a bomb or missile or guns. But forget about this. What I want to say, when a Christian people, I'm not talking about the Jewish, when a Christian people want to get inside to Gaza, he can get inside, but he will never get out.
I don't debate that Hamas is terrible, but I don't think that it justifies the blockade.
How you can say that Hamas is not terrible if he's killing Jewish,
if he's
killing Christian,
if
he's killing the PLO?
You just mischaracterized what I said. I said they are terrible.
Okay. What is the meaning to terrible? They are organized terrorism.
Sure.
This is not a terrible.
That is terrible.
How you can say that you want one state solution, that you never been here, you never see the border, you never know how we live together or not live together.
I mean, I've never been to New York, and I can still speak about the politics in New York. I've never been to I've never been to Mexico, and I can speak about the politics there. You can speak about a country without ever being there before.
It's okay. You can speak about whatever you want about the states, and you can give your opinion because you are American. It's almost similar, but this is a conflict that almost 100 years.
But see, I'm talking about the U.S. support for the crimes being committed by the Israeli government towards the people in Gaza and in the West Bank. So if you want to go beyond that, but I'm talking about the U.S. gives billions of dollars every year in military aid to commit what I think are very clear atrocities, and so that's what I'm referring to. And I do think I hold a responsibility for that as someone in the U.S.
Okay, great. Do you know who killed more Muslim in Gaza? Who killed more Muslim in Gaza? Israel or Muslims?
So I think that this is a very basic moral principle. I think that we are the most responsible and need to have the most accountability for the crimes that we commit and that our governments commit. Okay? And so I have, as unfortunate as it is, I have almost no control over what Hamas does. But I do have control, or at least more control, over what my government does.
Of course you have.
And so I think that we should stop funding atrocities. Do you think that that's a fair principle?
First of all, it's not unfair because this is the trade. This is the people that betrayed what you want to people that betrayed in another people in another country, that Democrat country. Do you know that Israel is the one city, the one country democracy in all the Middle East?
I question if it's a democracy when there is people that live under jurisdiction that have no representation, such as the Palestinians living in the West Bank.
I'm not talking about people. There is a Palestine territory. This is differently, but I want just give you the answer, the question. Do you know that Israel is the only country, democracy country in all the Middle East?
Within the portions that Israel considers to be part of its country, within 67 borders, yes, it's a democracy.
There is no 67 border. You are mistaking.
So you think people outside? So you think people outside of 67 borders that are not Israeli citizens but are under the jurisdiction?
Again, there is no. Again, you are saying something that is not belong. You know that Palestine is not exist. Do you know?
We're talking about the people, and I'm saying that there are people there that don't have representation.
Let me explain with your permission. Do you know that Palestine is not exist? Do you know that in 67 there is no Palestinian people? There was Hashemi Jordan people.
So no. I don't want to play the semantic game of where you try to say that an entire group of people doesn't exist. It's a pointless conversation. You know who I'm talking about when I refer to Palestinians. It's not interesting. We know who I'm talking about, right? When you say the Palestinian people, do you not know who we're talking about?
No, I will explain to you. There is no Palestinian. There is Hashemi Jordanian people.
No. I'm not. Discussion over labels. It's not relevant. We know who we're talking about here. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Okay. All the best, my friend. Thank you very much.
Okay. It's just such a tired argument. The idea that discussions over what is considered Palestinian. There is a group of people they identify as Palestinian, and when people try to erase that, I think it does a lot of damage, and it's just awful.